Welcome, everybody, to another week of Wealth Wisdom, where we're helping you build wealth and legacy.
Companies are like an organism trying to survive.
It's always a risk when you're investing in a company that's purely tied to someone's brand.
45% of Americans have gone into debt for a Disney trip. Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Wisdom. I'm Justin Obi, and with me are my esteemed Eric Benz and Bill Ryan, co-founders and principals of Fox Hill Wealth Management. Always a pleasure to be with you guys today. How you doing? What's going on?
Doing phenomenal. Yeah, on this beautiful Friday morning here in Dedham, Massachusetts.
It's rainy. August 1st, start of a new month. Time is flying.
Is August 1st to you guys? I feel like it kind of like punches me in the mouth every year. It's just like, I'm like, oh man, the summer is really almost over. I feel like in August, like that August 1st date is always one of those, like, it's a kind of a gut punch because it's just amazing how quick the summer goes by. And September is really nice too, but the problem is that like kids sports and
everything starts
school
up.
And all those like everything starts up and it's just like chaos. So it's like even though you have nice weather and stuff like that, there's too much going on in September. August is, at least the first couple of weeks, are nice and slow, and then all of a sudden things start.
August
things start humming.
August is the official month of everyone taking vacation for the entire month, and I'll see you guys in September. I'm just kidding, but hopefully everyone listening is planning some nice relaxing beach trips or whatever.
Go on the holiday.
So much more free time to listen to Wealth Wisdom Show. So,
what do they call that in Europe? They just call it holiday, where they go away for a month. You know, just holiday. I'm here on holiday. I always hear that whenever I go someplace, something like that. They're like, how long you down? How long you here for? They're like, for the month. It's like, nice.
Yeah, the whole month.
Yeah.
This week, we've got a lot coming at you guys. We're going to dive into the Big Beautiful Bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill. There's a lot. We covered it briefly back in July 4th. When
the real Big Beautiful Bill right here.
I should have introduced you like that. Oh my God!
That's what I want to be called going forward. Is the Big Beautiful Bill?
Yeah, that's you got it. Then we covered it. We covered it briefly when it was signed into law July 4th. But we wanted to do a deeper dive into it. There's a lot of tax implications, especially for business owners. So if you are a business owner, we want to make sure you listen and dive into this. We're also going to cover a lot today. This week was pretty eventful. And then we've got a special coverage of one of our stock portfolio companies, TJX. So with that, let's dive into it. Eric, you want to kick us off with the rapid fire news this week?
Yeah, let's get into it. So Trump announced the trade agreement with the EU after a brief meeting with EU President Ursula von der Leyen. The deal sets a 15% tariff. All right, so 15% tariff on goods coming from Europe. Trump had promised 30%. That's the news. The deal also includes Europe purchasing $150 billion worth of U.S. energy, adding $600 billion to other investments in the U.S. as well. I
thought this was a big one.
Jeffrey.
Yeah. Well, no, stick on. I think this trade deal was a big one because also today, I believe today it is the trade deadline for a lot of other countries. And so with Europe finalizing their agreement earlier in the week at the Scotland golf course, talk about pressure. I don't know.
And now they're getting a lot of that energy, right? So that kind of takes away some from Mother Russia and everything like that too, right? So they're getting more from us as opposed to. So that's always a good thing.
No, it's a great deal. They're going to be making a huge investment into the country. So I thought that was pretty big. And did you see how Trump had the opening in his Scotland golf course? That's when that was happening.
That's how he tied that in, huh?
Yeah. The guy's a master media mind. So sorry. I just thought those are interesting points to highlight there. We'll see what happens today.
That's good.
I was going to say that part's debatable. What was that one thing I saw yesterday? This is a little off topic from there, but that Senator Hawley is proposing that bill so that Congress, they can't trade individual stocks.
Yeah, that was
There's been back and forth.
Too.
But then
I saw a little clip on that.
they're saying that they're gonna not have the vice president and president be included in that, which I don't understand why. I think I think it should just be all of the government. I
Well,
mean, it's
I
like the
think-
definition of insider trading. It's gone on way too long. I would love to see that.
Well, I think
That
Nancy
happened.
Pelosi was in the hot seat. I saw a quick clip on that. I don't know if you saw that, Bill. She makes like 100,000 in salary or something, 150,000. I'm a little ballparking here, but her net worth is reported to be $413 million. And she's got an 88%, like her stock portfolio is up 88%.
Just it's her husband. He's a mastermind investor. It has nothing to do with her. It's
I think the little quick news
no,
brief
I'm kidding.
was
Yeah.
it's either
Yeah.
insider
Yeah.
trading or
No,
she's
no.
the best investor of our lifetime. So
There's like there are things that like track her investments and like tell you
Mhm.
what to do exactly what she does. Yeah, it's insane.
it's just
They're a mastermind. But that's the funny thing is they say, oh, we disclose it. It's like, yeah, you just show like what you're doing is
after the fact. Yeah.
you should be running a hedge fund, a mutual fund, and everything else that you possibly can. So it's funny.
Yeah. I think it was the same senator trying to introduce a bill on the tariff. Holly, yeah. I'm just jumping around a little bit in the notes, but just because you brought
Yeah,
up
some type of rebate
Josh
check,
Hawley,
right, for
a
the
rebate
money
check
that's also
because of the tariffs. Well, yeah. So that'll be interesting to watch as well. But serious money for the average American family. We've got $600 an adult and per child too. So
Yeah, Trump had talked about that
Family
like a week or
afford to
two
get-
ago. He said maybe we've had so much revenue, maybe I don't know. I find it kind of
Is that inflationary
Yeah, one point-
though? Like, what do economists say about that?
well, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Of course, it's inflationary. You're just pumping money into the system. I know they're saying that, yeah, maybe it's taken away from the costs to help offset it. But yeah, I would say it's inflationary. Anytime you pump money into the system of any kind, it's inflationary.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'd rather see them hold off on, something like that. See how things play out, and then
Well, that was
And then
Bill.
do
That
it,
was a big
but-
part of what Powell said yesterday in the big nothing burger of a Fed meeting. No rate increase or touching. They're still waiting, but they're looking for the inflation is going up. He's expecting it to go up more. So, what do you think about that? The Fed meeting, Bill? Any thoughts? Any additional thoughts there? Did you agree?
No, it's it's basically exactly what I predicted was going to happen. I thought there was no chance they were gonna lower rates. I just think the labor market's too good. The stock market is too good.
Yeah.
Inflation ticked up. These are all things that lead them to not lowering rates. I think Trump's the market's doing too well. We need to lower rates, which doesn't even make sense for what the job of what the Fed is supposed to do. So it has no correlation. So yeah, so I think that's gonna be the case. And well, we have so much data now. There's so much information coming out so early. The Fed is, as they say, is a lagging. But that's the thing is we have more information now than we ever have. So obviously everything the Fed does, it's gonna lag behind what's out there. But that's the thing. Their job is to come in, look at all the data, analyze it, make a decision from there. Right now, everything is pointing that they shouldn't raise rates. Excuse me, lower rates, not raise rates. I think that's going to be the case.
They could raise rates.
In theory, they could. Yep, they could do that because maybe inflation gets too high. Less likely than that's going to happen, but yes, it could certainly, in theory, could happen. Yeah. So I believe that there will be a rate cut at some point this year, but they want to get all the information. They want to see how these tariffs play out, and then from there they'll make a decision. So it might not even be in September. It might be later, but we'll see what happens.
Higher for longer.
When you look back historically at what the Fed was doing when the American economy was like running hot, you can look back at the 90s, right? And actually rates were pretty similar to where they are right now, and they held steady for that time period. So you wonder, maybe that's what's going to happen here as well.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
One thing I like, it's a way to control home prices too. And I think you talk to everybody, home prices have just been obviously firing up for well over a decade now at this point. And if you can control that, allow people's wages to increase in the meantime, and hopefully home prices will not jump at the same rate, that's a way for more people to get into the housing market as more supply comes in and building happens and baby boomers start to move and things like that. So that I think would be a good thing for the average American to be able to get into a house that's affordable.
Yeah.
Things like that too. So
Yep. Yeah, it's a
absolutely.
huge problem. We see, obviously, we get an intimate view of our clients' finances, and we see a lot of the boomer generation actually gifting money to the younger generation so that they can buy their first-time home.
oh yeah, but think about all the people who don't have that benefit, right? There's a lot of people
Yeah.
who are on their own when it comes to that. They don't have a parent or benefactor to say, hey, yeah, I'll give you 50, 100,000, whatever it might be, right? So people who don't have that, they're at a huge disadvantage. And I think if they're able to keep rates up, I understand it's a higher payment each month, but at least coming up with that initial down payment, getting into the property, if as long as house prices don't keep going up, and if rates go down, again, I don't know how many more buyers enter the market at what percentage rate cut, but I know it's significant. So I'm all right with keeping it the way it is so that wages can catch up and then hopefully home prices, again, they just don't jump at the same pace of wages going up. And then that way it becomes affordable for more people. So,
Other news, Jeff
Yes.
Bezos sold 25 million Amazon shares for 5.7 billion over the past month. Amazon, did they release earnings yet? When's that coming out?
Yep. It was a big week for earnings reports.
Yeah.
they actually beat expectations. Their guidance wasn't that great. And then Trump talked about the tariffs last night. And so their stock price is down about 8% in pre-market this morning. Cloud didn't do as well as Google or Microsoft. I feel like
AWS.
whoever out of those three has like good cloud numbers. In this case, it was Google or Microsoft. Their stock did really well after earnings. Amazon's wasn't as strong. That's what affected them. But
Yeah.
yep, Bezos, poor guy. He's selling that stock, knocked him down to maybe less than $250 billion. So
Yeah.
in total net worth.
200.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy. Well, he had to pay for his wedding somehow.
Is it? No, you got to figure that's an estate planning thing, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
But
Yeah, he's probably diversifying a little bit. He's probably, you got to remember, I'm sure he borrows against these shares, right? So he has big tax hits whenever he sells because he's borrowed a lot over time.
what is the tax hit there? That's
Extensive. more than most of us will make in our lifetime. That's for sure. But yeah, these sales too, you got to keep in mind, they're declared 90, 120 days in advance that this is going to happen regardless. And again, I know 5.7 billion sounds like a huge number, and it absolutely is, but it is a pittance of this guy's net worth that he's selling it. So he still has a huge exposure to how Amazon performs going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And he did donate a portion of that to charity as well. So out of those 25 million, 633,000 were to charities.
It's amazing.
Again, not number. That's the shares, not the cash value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then earnings. Just talk about Eric. This week was big for earnings reports, right? We've got most of half of the Mag 7 reporting, so that was big news.
Yeah, and obviously we own Amazon, which, like Bill said, down 8% this morning, but we did really well with Facebook, which was up like 12% after they reported earnings. And then
Meta the Magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the other one was Microsoft. They were up like 4% after earnings. Yeah, the Mag 7, it's unbelievable. Like I don't know. Yeah, if you haven't owned them over the last 5 years, you've really missed massive returns. That's why we've pretty consistently had at least 3 of them in our portfolio the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the ad revenue numbers were way up. Net income is up 36% year over year for Meta. It's just huge numbers. They crushed it. And what was crazy? Look at this stat, Eric. You're our stat guy, but I had to pull this one. I mean,
What?
the Mag
What's the
7
stat?
market cap. So total Mag 7 market cap is equal to the bottom 433 companies in the S&P 500, which is $18.8 trillion.
Yeah. It's pretty like, how does this compare to the 1920s when they were breaking up companies? Like, is their size and scale similar, or is it greater than those companies at this point? Like, will regulators be stepping in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Google's been under the gaze of regulators, but there's so many people. The argument for not breaking up Google or Alphabet, but it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but there's just too many competitors coming at them right now. So everyone's trying to fight off the enemies at the gate, really. But so
It's a tough call because they do have a lot of competition.
yeah.
But at the same time, they can crush the competition very quickly. So I know the European Union is obviously they're much more active in this antitrust and things along those lines. And there was a lot of talk about how the Biden administration had really been pushing a lot of things, and since Trump has come in, that a lot of those have seemed to have gone away or are in the process of going away. Trump has even made jokes about breaking up certain companies. He made a joke about breaking up NVIDIA at a speech before we realized he couldn't do it. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, it is. I keep talking about this kind of winner takes all economy, and yeah, there were certain companies they take the whole market share, right, of everything that's going on. What they do, it might be some stuff might seem similar, but it is almost like little micro economies, and they just own everything that goes on with it. So
yeah. Just one. Well, I think one. What was interesting, I think Meta, they're spending huge in capex. The AI is crushing. So AI is fueling their ad engine right now. So improved targeting conversion rates are helping businesses everywhere. So people are piling into that, and they're outperforming a lot of AI. We were talking about it in the office yesterday, Bill, about like how many employees they're poaching from everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's like the murderer's row of AI developers, right? Everyone, they took Apple's top guy, they've taken a few people from OpenAI, they've taken, so it just seems like
they have an unlimited budget seemingly to do that.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, they
smart
say
glasses too are up triple sales.
Oh yeah, but if it's I heard a good stat that if this is a several $trillion opportunity, right? Like the whole AI space for what they do. And if they're to spend a couple $100 billion on the top talent, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I think Jensen Huang was saying that too, of CEO of NVIDIA. Was saying he'd do the same thing if he was in Zuckerberg's shoes. So
yeah,
definitely interesting time.
I think a few more of Jensen Huang's staff. There's been a few people who are now billionaires because of the NVIDIA stock, which I thought was interesting. So it's not just him who's a billionaire. He's made other employees billionaires for how well that company has performed.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, would you be selling NVIDIA stock if you were one of those employees?
Yeah.
Knowing inside, knowing what they know, yeah, maybe a little bit, but
I think you got to diversify slightly.
You always have to. What are you selling off?
99% of your net worth is in NVIDIA.
Yeah, but do you sell off like 10, 20%? 10, 20%, you have more money than you'll ever need in your life, unless you have a severe spending problem. But
right.
So you can sell off 10, 20, 30%, diversify, live great just off that. And then, especially if you know that the company's doing well and they're doing everything they can to continue to grow, then you hold on.
Yeah.
Watch that money compound.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, for sure. All right. What else happening in the news? Anything, Eric? I think we covered. That's a lot, right? We got.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You want to jump into the main topic? We got
Yeah, let's talk about Bill and his beautiful physique. No,
his
well,
so it is called the reconciliation bill, right? So, but everyone's calling it the one big beautiful bill. I think it hit on some big pieces: bonus depreciation, salt tax changes, business interest deductions, pass-through business income deduction, qualified opportunity zones, clean energy. A lot of people are saying this is going to be a big boost for business and real estate specifically. So I thought that was interesting. You've got a lot happening there. Bill, can you why don't you walk us through a bit of.
is any of this relevant to us, Bill, as a company?
So you mean like individuals? So if we looked at like what the big individual stuff is, maybe first.
Yeah, good point. Good call.
Yeah. So I would say big things for talk about the salt tax. Let's get into that because we talked about that before, but it is something that I want to touch on. So previously, you could when you itemize your deductions on your taxes, you could deduct up. You were capped out at $10,000 of
Mm-hmm.
real estate tax, state tax paid, excise taxes, personal property taxes. Right, that was capped at 10,000.
Okay.
So you think about the Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, California, but really people bring up those states, but I would say a lot of states are affected by this, even states because states that maybe don't have an income tax, right? They have very high real estate taxes. So they might be paying over $10,000 in real estate tax. And those people were capped. They weren't, you're not able to do so. I think this affects a lot of people actually. Not just those kind of high, quote unquote, high income states. And
So say as an example, I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. If you were paying $15,000 in real estate tax in your home state, you capped out at 10.
yeah, in terms of deduction,
So
and even if you were paying, and then you're paying state tax, right,
Gotcha.
as well
Okay.
on your income, it's not even useful.
Got it.
So this raises that from 10 to 40,000.
Wow.
Okay, so you can now do 40. Now there is phase outs, right? So I believe it's 250,000 for a single person, 500,000 for married filing joint. But if you think about all those married couples who may be doing well, they might make $200,000 to $500,000. They're making a good living, things like that. But this is a huge boom for them.
Well, it's quadrupled in what you can deduct now. That's huge.
Yeah. So it could be a good chunk of change for those people.
And when does that go? Do you know when that goes? Is that for if you're filing taxes in this coming April? That will change things for this coming April?
Effective 2025, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that is. That is effective. There are a number of things on this bill that are effective this year. Some stuff is for 2026 and beyond, but that is one of the things that is effective to right away. Child tax credit that went up a couple $100 from 2,000 to 2,200. So
that's pretty good.
Those are some things there.
There's also, I think, a automobile and recreational, like you can write off the interest you're paying on those loans for automobiles.
Yeah, in the past, consumer interest was not deductible. So for, like you said, you finance a car for business purposes, it was, right? Or could be, I should say. But just for recreational, that was a big thing that's now going to be deductible. So
yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yep. You think about the amount of people who finance a car, right?
Yeah, most people.
Most people do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be that. Those I would say for the average person are two of the biggest changes within this. So
yeah,
there's a bunch of stuff on business. So
bonus depreciation's back.
Yeah, so it had been anyone who maybe talks to their accountants a lot and they've noticed that in the past, Past couple of years, it could. There was 100% bonus depreciation. So you buy I don't know, let's say you're a landscaper, you buy a Bobcat or you buy something like that, you could take 100% of it, right, a couple of years ago. But that's been coming down. So it was going down from 100 to 80. You could take 80% of it in the first year, down to 60 this past year. Now it's back to 100, right? So you can buy that big piece of equipment. Even if you finance it, you don't even pay the thing off in total, right? You just buy it so that you're now legally obligated to fulfill that debt. That is now a write-off for you. So that's huge. Because if you're a company that's growing, think of anybody who's looking to grow as opposed to having to depreciate that expense over several years, you can now take that immediately. Excuse me. Take 100% of it, right? That tax savings now you can now plow back into your business and maybe get more equipment, maybe hire an extra set of hands, right, to run that and really help out your cash flow. So I think that's a huge deduction for business owners. And one, to me, I think it universally makes sense to everybody. You say, I bought something. Why can't I deduct the whole thing? Why do I have to take it over a few years?
Yep.
Right? I don't know. To me, I feel that's something that everybody can get behind. It's not one of those things that say, hey, that doesn't really make much sense. Why do if I bought even a computer, is right? Technically, you're supposed to depreciate that over 3 years. You buy something that over $1,500, they say, hey, you should depreciate that over 5. So it doesn't make any sense. So
now you can deduct that Range Rover as maybe a real estate professional or some way. So fantastic news for everyone getting Range Rovers.
Yeah, so that's a common, very, very common misconception about vehicles and things like that. First of all, there's luxury vehicle limitations. So that's one of them. There's passenger vehicles, which a Range Rover is. It has to, there's weight requirements, right? I think most Range Rovers are actually under the 6,000 pound. So people think that you can do that. There's also
the right one. You got to get the right one. That's the key.
Yeah, get the add-ons and things like that. Yeah. You also have to use it more than 50% for business use. Right. That's something that people don't realize. Like,
and you need to
only use it 30% of the time.
You got to detail all that.
How do they track that if you're not using it over 50% for business use?
The IRS, if you ever get audited, they would require a log. So they say, hey, where did you go? What was the mileage?
Yeah. Daily.
Is that mileage deductible for business purposes? And then what they would say is, who did you speak with and what business did you speak about?
Yeah.
That's what they want.
And doesn't it creates a red flag. I was reading about this. It creates auditors are looking for this stuff. Like it's like, oh, you're deducting this. You're going to increase your chances. Maybe I'm wrong, but you're likely increasing your chances of an audit.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want them seeing something and then looking further, right? Creating a massive headache.
Yeah, for the average small business owner, the things that they're looking at is travel, meal. What used to be meal and entertainment, now just meals. They don't want you writing off entertainment at all. That's not considered unless it's like a company event or open to the public or something like that. But yeah, they don't want any entertainment on there aside from that. Meals has always been really questionable. People think that like, oh, if you grab lunch, something like that, you can put it on the company card unless it's for business purposes. You're not supposed to. It's not deductible. So meals, travel, entertainment, and car use of the car, right? So they have said that they will start specifically looking again at the luxury vehicles. People trying to write off their entire luxury vehicle. The IRS limits passenger vehicles. There's luxury limits, and that's a thing that is going to start getting looked into, and probably, if I had to guess, was probably the most abused deduction. Right? You think about how many people say, "Oh, I just write off my whole car." Yeah. A lot of times they're probably not eligible for that. So that's something that.
Yeah. So the better bonus, the better ways to do bonus depreciation are really things that improve your business and add leverage to the company. So manufacturing equipment, computer systems, office furniture,
machinery,
fixtures,
right?
stuff
All
like
all that stuff.
machinery. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
New. Yeah, and then there was new qualified production property bonus, that's an interesting one for a lot of.
They're able to. Yeah, that's another thing, right? In the past year, you buy a property,
Yeah.
and you got to depreciate it over 39 years for a commercial property, right? Now, depending on what it's used for, that can be 100%. So that can be huge. I think that's going to be big too when we talk about all the industrial properties that are needed for data centers and really anything else. Manufacturing in the U.S., right? That was one of the things people would say, how will we ever get, we don't have the manufacturing in place. We're going to have these tariffs. And yes, we want these jobs being here, but we don't even have the buildings to build this stuff. So how are we going to do it? Well, this is a huge incentive for people to say, okay, I'll build a building now for the company, put it here. I get 100% of the write-off. I don't have to take a little bit, right? 139th every year, which gives us nothing compared to the costs that we put out. So now this allows those companies to take that deduction right up front.
Yep.
And put those and take those tax savings and buy the equipment as needed to now manufacture whatever else is sell.
Yeah, Eric, I was going to ask you, do you think they put this in place because, like, to fuel all the energy production needed for AI? Because it qualifies. The qualifying piece to this is you can write it off at 100% if construction. It has to begin January 20th, 2025, and then between then and 2028. Do you think
I would say you're spot on. It's an arms race, and the U.S. wants to be number one, right? Don't want to be behind China or other competitors. But also we know that having low cost energy will help us bring down inflation, which has obviously been the main topic like the past few months. So investment there, they're trying to incentivize it. So I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, and all those data centers too that you're going to need. They're being built everywhere.
I had a question for you guys. Did you guys hear about the Trump accounts for kids? Had you looked into those at all? It was part of the bill. Let me pull up my notes on that.
Yeah, so I've heard a lot of talk about that probably over the last 6 to 8 months, where everyone gets $1,000 or something like that. It's put into the market, but I don't know why, but I didn't really read too much about that lately. And I did hear, like you're saying, I did hear something about it.
Yeah, it said allows up to $5,000 in annual after-tax contributions by parents or family members. Employer contributions up to $2,500.
Really?
But like I think are the gains tax free? It says similar to traditional IRAs. That's what it says on the notes. Either way, that could be like a massive advantage for families.
Yeah, there were a few.
Oh yeah, if you
reporting
think
of this
about
just
that
2 days ago.
compounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is breaking news here. This is up to $2,500 per year excluded from taxable income. They can contribute.
All right, so sorry, I
annually.
need some clarification. 2,500 excluded from annual income in terms of what? The earnings within the account, or it's a deduction that you give?
Parents, relatives, and employers can contribute up to $5,000 annually to each account, while contributions made before a child turns 18 are not tax deductible. Employer contributions up to $2,500 a year are excluded from taxable income.
So I, as a business owner,
Yeah.
could put $2,500 into my kid's account, and that would be a deduction.
Not tax deductible. Yeah.
Are not tax deductible or are tax deductible? This makes for good content. We're just guessing. We'll have to come back on this one.
This is breaking news, folks. We'll come back to you guys. This is 2 days ago.
Is 2 days ago
we'll
breaking news in this
guess,
media environment? Is that old news? Yeah, we definitely got to look back at that. That's a huge thing, and I definitely want to get into that more. So maybe we'll do that in the next week or two.
Put in, That's
well, Eric always likes to hit us with these. Yeah, he always likes to hit us with these surprises.
Well, Eric with a child now is his
That's what you're saying. Yeah, no, this is
his bunny
good.
ears just shot up. He just said, "Whoa, what is this?" Like, yeah. So
No, it's good. All right, so moving on for the next pieces of the big beautiful bill, outside of your beautiful head, Bill, we've got the pass through business income.
just
So
shining
section
it up, shining it up.
199A, pass through business income. It was a big, the QBI deduction is made permanent. So it makes the 20% qualified business income deduction under section 199A permanent. So S corporations, partnerships, other entities taxed as partnerships, qualified REIT dividends. What does this actually mean, Bill? So
that QBI deduction again,
yeah.
there's limitations with it with anything, but yeah, it allows us to, if you think about most individuals who are taxed in what's called pass-through entities, so they pass through to your personal income tax return the profit or loss.
Yeah.
But in the past, you were subject to we're subject to whatever the ordinary income tax rates or marginal rates were of the individual, which had been a lot higher than what the corporate rates were. Okay. So what this allows us to do is it gives you this 20% deduction in income so that you're taxed closer to the corporate tax rate. So it's a boon for small business owners. So small business owners who typically all the income comes onto their personal return, they might get taxed very highly on that. This gives you a 20% deduction. Now the limitations are that, and what kind of drives me nuts is who gets it and who doesn't, right? So if you're someone who gets it for name recognition, so doctors, healthcare, financial advisors, accountants, things like that, they don't get it. Okay, or it gets phased out, I should say. Gets phased out at a certain point. I want to say roughly around 500 or so thousand for married filing joint. Real estate agents, who I would actually put into the same thing, they get it no matter how much they make. So I'm not sure why that's the case. Yeah, but
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so that was something.
And does it says, I don't know if, we'll have to maybe look at this. Unless you know this off the top of your head. Are LLCs, if they're a single member LLC, are you qualified to get this? Or
yes.
Yes, you are. Okay.
Yeah, sole proprietorship too. Yeah, sole proprietorship.
So that's great.
Single member LLC is basically taxed as a sole proprietorship for all those at home who think, oh, I signed up an LLC for tax purposes. It's like, no, you didn't. You did it because you read it in an article and you didn't look at anything else. So, yeah, it's the same as the sole proprietorship. And yes, they're eligible for it. Partnership returns, again, these are profit or loss from the business, flows through on personal return. S corporation, same thing, flows through on a personal return. You are eligible for it. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. There's 1,000 little scenarios, but for the most part, that's what you should be looking at.
Okay, cool. And then for the real estate piece, I think this was a big one. If you're looking at investing in real estate, qualified opportunity zones had a major expansion. So I know, Eric, you're looking at buying a house. I don't know if you qualify here. It's more of the investment nature. But it makes the opportunity zone program permanent feature of the tax code. It was going to expire in a year. Governors can designate new opportunity zones on a rolling 10-year basis.
This is definitely because of the housing crisis.
I would imagine
incentivizing. Yeah, they need
builders. Yeah, it's a huge incentive in investment and stuff.
Massive.
I don't know all that goes into it offhand in a qualified opportunity zone, but there are huge tax incentives in order to do that. Some of the places too, it's like that is a qualified opportunity zone, but I don't know what it's with income and things like that in the area. But there are some places that you would say, I don't think that's a rundown area or anything like that.
It's a great area in those cases.
Yeah, and it's so I know it's incentivized a lot of private equity and things like that to get into it. So they'll pool funds from investors and things like that, and then build tons of housing. in that area. So it's a great way to get money into that area because it incentivizes the investor, incentivizes the company to put it together, and then it gets more housing, which is what we need. We need more housing, right? We need.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've also increased rural opportunity funds, so they have new qualified rural opportunity funds, which is great for moving outside of, because a lot of the opportunity zones seem to be in urban areas, so moving outside into rural areas, and then the taxable REIT subsidy changes. So a lot of real estate stuff in here, which applies to big investors and business owners and REITs, but also seemingly a lot of great stuff for the average American, which is great to see. And then, Eric, your favorite clean and energy changes. I know you're a big proponent of ESG investing.
We got clean coal.
Yeah, clean coal. But we've got wind and solar restrictions. So that's, if you go to the Tesla website, I know everyone loves Tesla right now.
I got the black lung pop.
If you go to Tesla's website, it says like your federal tax deduction is about to expire. Buy now.
Oh,
so
buy
they're
now,
pushing
yeah.
it. What's your take on these new restrictions? What are they trying to do? Is just a push for clean coal?
I think someone lobbied hard and got rid of those incentives there. I think too, like obviously this will hurt growth overall in those industries, but there's a lot of profitability for the utilities companies that are building out these wind farms and solar fields and stuff like that. You're still going to see growth in that industry, but it's definitely a big hit in the near term.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to prop
we're-
up. Sorry, there's a little lag.
No, I was saying we're seeing a shift. The spend is in nuclear. That's what we're seeing though right now.
Yeah, those SMRs.
Yeah, give the most energy, right? And it is clean. Coming up with, and then I think too, once there's talks about this different fuel sources and stuff like that can be even cleaner with nuclear. So
Yeah,
obviously that's
we'll
where
see like
a huge push.
Sometimes those credits too were like the solar credits, like people adding solar panels in New England where it's like foggy all the time. It wasn't really worth it. You see. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's a lot of stuff. Anything else you would want to highlight from the one beautiful bill before we move on to, because we're up on this.
I think we move on. There's a lot of stuff there, but those are some things that most individuals I feel like should be focusing on.
Yeah, I think just there was maybe of note, just I guess there were no changes to long-term capital gains rates. So from an investment standpoint, it's good to know.
So you're paying anywhere from 0 to 22.9, depending on your income.
Yeah. And then they didn't change individual tax rates either. So that is, top rate is still 37%.
Who was pushing changes to the capital gains rate? Like which Republicans or Democrats, or was it a niche group pushing that? Like where was that coming from?
I don't know. I imagine Nancy Pelosi wants that down to 0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think any of those guys. They're all loaded. They don't want that rate to change.
It's probably a bipartisan issue. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that is one thing that Democrats who wanted to raise taxes felt like that was an area that they could. You do hear that a lot, is why does XYZ billionaire get to pay a lower tax rate than their executive assistant? Or something like that. You hear that a lot. Warren Buffett has mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's I'm empathetic to it, but at the same time, I do understand how incentive, the tax codes, incentivizing tax codes for creation of jobs and wealth and things like that needs to be done as well. So you do need to have kind of a hand, right? Or that lever needs to be adjusted appropriately. And so I do understand why maybe we do pay a little bit less in capital gains, because you want those job creators to using that money to then putting into the next project, putting into the next company, things like that, to keep things going, right? To keep things growing. And if they're paying too much money in taxes, they don't have that capital to then reallocate. So you want to make sure they're paying a fair share, but you want to make sure they're not paying so much that it hurts business. So what that number is, I don't know. I've never done a deep dive and said, geez, it really should be about 26.2% or something like that. That I just don't know. So.
All right, so let's get into it to close out today's episode. Stock analysis from our portfolio. We're talking about TJX. That's TJ Maxx, if you don't know. Eric, give us the rundown. When did we buy it? What were we thinking?
We've owned it since the end of 2022. We're up about 90% on it. Wanted some diversification in the portfolio. I know we keep repeating that, so we don't just own big tech all the time. But also it gives us a hedge, almost a market hedge, right? Because TJ Maxx, they obviously buy clothing from other retailers who couldn't sell their inventory. So when economy's not doing as well, people flock to TJ Maxx. They're low cost. They're getting their product on the cheap. But they've also done well in the current environment because a lot of the retailers they're buying clothing from have already paid tariffs. So they're getting, they don't have to bear that cost. The other thing too is, despite this massive shift to online retail, for some reason TJ Maxx has survived it because of what their CEO calls it the treasure hunt. Like people like to go into TJ Maxx, their loyal customer base, go in, find that thing that they want, even though it's not as organized as other stores might be, coded by color and all that stuff.
Yeah, going to Tuesday Maxx on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's
bumping. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. I mean, I just went in to get deals. I went in to get T-shirts one time, and I was like, "What are all these people doing here?" I don't understand. There was 18 people in line, and there was 6 cash registers going, and it was just constant. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the line's long.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no.
Geez, so they have home goods as well too, worth mentioning. Go ahead, Justin.
And we should have said this. Quick disclaimer: this is past performance does not guarantee future. But do you think so? This was more. Were you guys thinking consumers are in trouble? This is going to be a stock that performs well during those times where people are looking for those bargains, or was that not really part of it?
It's a mix of that, but it also performs. It's performed well in relatively good times as well. Yeah. So it's good to have that hedge.
Yeah, I totally think it. Yeah, just like you said, Eric, it's something that performs well when people have excess money. They want to go buy stuff. It could be they have all these different business units, right? Just like you said, it's not just TJ Maxx or Marshall's home goods, right? They might have some stuff they want some decor for the home, things along those lines. Again, they're able to get it much cheaper. These companies that they're buying from they have inventory they need to get off their shelves.
Right.
Guess who comes in and buys that on the cheap and then resells it? They're able to do a lot of that. They're very diverse in where they source all their goods. So they're not just getting it maybe from these other countries. There's a lot of places where they're getting it from. Great supply chain management. All those things that you want in a retailer, they are very lean. They do it very, very well. They probably do it better than anybody in that area. And so that's why they're able to grow in all market conditions.
Yeah.
And like you said, economy's doing bad. Where do people go to get their goods? They go in there because they're getting a deal, right? When the economy's doing well.
And the inventory is going to be even better there too if it's a bad economy. They're getting the nicer products then because those aren't moving off the shelves at other retailers.
Oh yeah, so it's a great business model.
So what do we think for the long-term outlook? Are we thinking it's still in the portfolio? It provides a nice diversification from everything.
As Bill said, it's had upward earning revisions, so we're going to continue to hold it. JP Morgan's analysts even have their price target is in the 120s right now. Their price target's in the 140s. So they're still projecting growth overall. Yeah, we don't see a shift away from the treasure hunting trend. We see continued growth there.
This is making me want to go treasure hunting. And
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
And one thing too. Well, sorry, you go ahead, Eric. I'll jump in a second.
Oh, I was saying it's like being able to you get to go to like a Savers or I don't know some church community store. You get to do that at TJ Maxx without the like moth smell, the closet smell. So yeah.
Whoa! Shot at Sabres. Shot at Goodwill. No. No. Well, and sorry, I was going to say too. The one thing that I really like about too is their management and things like that. When they provide guidance and stuff, very conservative with their guidance.
Yeah.
So they typically outperform where they put it out there.
Yeah.
A lot of companies kind of shoot for the sun, the moon, and the stars when they're putting guidance out there to satisfy Wall Street. They're actually the opposite. They provide very conservative guidance and then typically beat it. So it's from a investment perspective, that's a little more predictable.
Their guidance is going to be consistent too because they're not their customer base doesn't need the latest fashion trend. They don't have to take on that risk because their customer base doesn't care about that. So other retailers take on that risk. When that flops, that clothing goes to TJ Maxx. They're not the ones taking on that risk, so their earnings are just going to continue to be consistent.
Yeah, that is true. And you're going there for staple, like it's almost like a staples company in a sense too. You're going there if you're a guy, you're going there for your white t-shirts. You're going there for things like that. So even if you're not someone who's like, oh, I like to shop and stuff like that, you're getting that stuff that you wear every day. Like you're always going to wear an undershirt. Where you're going to go to TJ Maxx unless you order it online. But yeah, those are the types of things that you're getting there. So they have all that kind of consistent business. Do a really good job of that.
Yeah, great points.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to share before we call it for the day? Get back to work.
Oh, I'm just tired. I need a vacation from my vacation. That's what I need.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, even on vacation. You're joining us here. This is great. It's always good to see you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
next week, thank you for tuning in. If you guys are still listening with us, next week we're going to hit some great topics coming up. We're still floating them. Please vote in the back. We'll put a comment. Vote for what you want to hear next episode in the comment section. If you're on Spotify, there'll be a poll there. As always, you can check us out at foxhillwealth.com. Try our free financial risk assessment tool. That's a great one to try if you're learning for more information about where you stand and where your finances match up. And as always, if you found value in this show, be a friend and share with a friend. And that's it.
Yeah, but one thing I definitely want to talk about is those Trump accounts. That's right. I do want to.
So that'll be one of the poll questions. We're gonna let the crowd decide. We want more active engagement. We want to hear from you guys. So let us know.
We're not gonna take the Steve Jobs. We'll tell them what they want approach.
Well, we'll see. I'm just trying to draw.
No, I'm joking.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Have a good one.